Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Reinharz, your hardworking CEO of Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions, trading on the OTC Pinks under the ticker AITX. This is the ticker that you want to share, talk about, get some merch for, and have some fun with, because we do a lot of stuff and we are working to be one of the next companies that's potentially at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution. But today, in a bit of a twist, I think, on the weekly videos, I'm going to answer 3 questions, and they all start with the word why. So, are these questions from investors? No, they're from me. I came up with the questions. I think that they're questions that many of you probably want to know the answers for, may not think about asking. So I think they're also just a way for me to get this information to you that I think is important as you engage with AITX and RAD, support us on our journey, and hopefully reap the rewards of a very successful company as it will hopefully get reflected in the stock at some point. So first question is, it's a bit of a softball, okay? So they get progressively more interesting, but the first one is, why are we giving Select Blur away to law enforcement agencies? Okay, that is the first question. And the answer goes to what our overall mission and vision is. And our overall mission is disrupting most of the elements of the greater security industrial complex to make way for the fourth industrial revolution. So I talk about industrial revolutions, but they're basically changing of the guard. They're basically upsetting of the status quo. They're the move to automobiles from horse and carriage. Those types of things where a lot of things get turned upside down in the process. And if you're cognizant of the fact that you are disrupting and changing the status quo, then that's where you want to be in order to emerge as an incumbent. And what I see is I see RAD emerging with a handful of other companies providing solutions throughout security, including law enforcement. And when I look at Select Blur, I look at the current products that are out there, I look at them and I see that they're expensive, they're cumbersome, they're cloud-based, and just in general, they're ripe for disruption. They're ripe for being upset. So because we have a vision of getting RAD dogs throughout law enforcement and making them human, flesh and blood officers, partners, we want to get into that market. And giving away Select Blur solves a few problems right off the bat. Number one, for departments, it's just easy, it's quick, it's free, it's local, it's secure, it's reliable, it's the solution that they want. It's fast. That's number one. So we want to help. That's the second thing is we want into municipalities. We want to get into the top 150 municipalities in the United States. And leading by giving, always a good strategy. So once we're in, hey, we know municipalities use a lot of solar towers. Take a look at our Rio. We know we have facilities that we need to secure. Take a look at Rosa. And once we're into the municipalities, we know that we can sell them other stuff, like Rios, because they use solar towers, like Rosas for their facilities and so forth. So they'll also recommend us to other clients that need security that are in those municipalities. So that's why we're giving Select Blur away. Next week, I'll probably give some type of Select Blur update. Of course, it was one of the press releases. So I want to issue the press release, return to you sharing some results so that and I already know because we've got a record of years of doing this. But so just so that when we say something, there's something behind it and there's going to be a follow-up on it. And it's not just fluffy, we're going to go do this type of press releases that I see all too often from OTC companies that worry me. Next, the next why is, why are we in movies and TV? Why do we do that? We don't get paid for it. We don't pay to be there, but we certainly incur costs to be there. And this question, comes right off the heels of the John Travolta Cash Out movie, which was super fun. I mean, listen, spending some time with John and just, I love the movie industry. I lived in LA for many years. So let's talk about why we're in the movies and films. Now, movies and films are a reflection of culture, and they're a time capsule of what different elements of our culture and our society are thinking about or dreaming about or concerned about in that moment. And when we see Rad Dog and when we see autonomous remote services getting attention from these story writers, and these authors and these publications that are building our pop culture around us, it's so impactful. And if Rad Dog can be involved in them as we are, then we're one of the building blocks as we build up this cultural expectation of what the future is. Now, you and I know what the future is because, hey, you've been watching the videos, you've been listening to me, you've been following along, and we know that in the very near future, basically starting now, we have stationary and mobile autonomous devices performing human work. That's what our future is. We know that in 1, 2, 3 years from now, a variety of intelligent autonomous devices are going to be crawling, rolling, flying around. We know that this is our future. We know that this is the fourth industrial revolution, and it's going to change a lot of things. So for today, for us to be in these movies and films shows that, number one, we're participating in this change of revolutions from the third to the fourth, and we want to be a part of that. Puts us in the pole position. So I want to contribute to culture and society by, providing the resources to show that our vision is in sync with a lot of these other visions. I want to contribute to pop culture acceptance of these solutions. And as a company, we want to, of course, primarily. So those are some of the reasons why we're doing it. But I have a little nugget for y'all. I just finished a call with another production that we've been working on for the last few weeks. Listen, we were in Blue Beetle in the DC movie Blue Beetle last summer, and I was really grateful to be there, really happy to be there. But I'll share straight up, 14 days on-site filming in Atlanta to end up with 57 seconds of miscellaneous background shots, was not happy about it. It wasn't a great outcome for us. On the flip side, Fox's Stars on Mars, where we had feature positions in 5 of the 10 episodes, completely paid off. What a fantastic showing that was for us. So now we're on to another production that I signed contracts for yesterday or whatever. And this production, upon analysis, it feels like a futuristic Mission Impossible type of, thriller. I don't know if Mission Impossible is the exact thing, but at least on the scale of the 2 production companies that have teamed up and the headlining absolute prime of his career A-lister headlining the production, or the movie rather, I've got really high hopes for it. We went through 3 definite scenes today that are in the picture. It's a fascinating picture involving a lot of really cool and new elements, including some of our stuff. So I'm going to leave the rest of it for later. I'll probably go down to LA on some of the filming days just to kind of check it out because I like kind of meeting the directors and so forth. So anyway, that's going to come out. That is slated to come out towards the end of 2025, and filming starts next month. So hey, there's your nugget. There's your nugget for this weekly video. Now, another really good question, and I said I'm building up in terms of questions of difficulty. So say you're a retail investor out there. You've been supporting us. You've been tweeting. You've been sharing. You've been talking about it. Maybe you're wearing a Rad Dog hat. Maybe you're, putting a positive comment on Twitter or on YouTube or on Instagram or anything like that. Great. Thank you very, very much on my behalf, the company's behalf, and all retail's behalf. Thank you. Thank you. Please keep doing it. But you might think to yourself from time to time, why is it taking so long? I love this company. This company is doing great stuff. Why is it taking so long? So let's define what it is, and why is it taking so long? So you might be thinking, hey, why is the stock not responding the way that I feel and the way that I think this is going to go? Why is that taking so long? And I can answer that one quickly and easily, saying the market's going to do what the market does. I can't. I could just keep doing what we're doing. You know what we're doing. You see how the market responds. We're in the OTC pinks. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Nobody does. But you might also be thinking, when you say, why is it taking so long? You might think that the it in that sentence is, why isn't the company profitable yet? We're talking about significant advancements in the technology. We're talking about stability on our organization. We're talking about narrowing the gap to positive cash flow. We're talking about positive debt renegotiations, pushing it out, telling the debt folks, hey, listen, let's just push it out even longer. Let's get to NASDAQ, let's go. So why is it taking so long? It's happening now. It is in progress. And we'll look back on it. And as I've said before, it'll be like, hey, this was an overnight success. And you all, because you've been with us from the beginning or from this moment, will know that it was actually years of grind, of working hard, of trying, and of figuring it out along the way. Doug, our chief marketing officer, we were speaking before I started recording this, and he said, Steve, he's like, why don't you equate it to baking a loaf of bread? And I'm like, okay, I've never baked a loaf of bread. I've probably never baked anything. But I was like, okay. He's like, well, you do all the work, and then you start baking it, and it's got to bake for a while until you can smell the fact that the bread's cooking, the bread's getting ready to be pulled out. You take it out and you got a loaf of bread, and it's amazing. And you're like, oh my God, this was amazing. I just pulled it out and had a loaf of bread. But you forget about all the work that went into it beforehand. So I think that we're in the baking process right now. And I think the house is starting to be filled with the beautiful smells of fresh baking bread. And I kind of like that analogy. So I hope you guys do too. Anyway, answered 3 questions, gave you a nugget. Not bad. Not a bad weekly update. More to come. Hope everyone's having a great weekend and a great week, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks.